Hi, do you have a problem that you just can't fix? You've thought about it endlessly, time and time again, and you run round a series of options and different ways of managing this problem, but you just don't seem to fix it. Well, my name's Maureen, I'm an executive coach, and it's a very common problem for many people, and it's something that as a coach I meet in people that I'm coaching, whether they are new entrants to their particular industry or whether they're very experienced leaders, because it's not a skill set as much as a mindset. Let me explain. When we have a problem that we can't fix, there are a range of reasons for that, and it depends on you and your circumstances to why that is, but let me give you some examples. One reason might be that you have a very strong emotional reaction to that problem. It might be about a relationship in the workplace or at home. And when you think about it, your emotions cloud your thinking. Now, I do in coaching quite often suggest to people that to optimize their well-being, that they look at their emotions, their thinking, and their well-being, their physical well-being, because getting all of those things right together means that you're much more likely to make balanced decisions. So if the problem that you're facing just makes you boil up with rage or anxiety, you're going to find it more difficult to use your critical thinking skills to resolve it. So try and step back from the emotion for a little while and step into your logical head and see if that helps. Another reason why it can be hard to engage with a problem is that instinctively we want to avoid it. Let's face it, we're hardwired as humans to make sure that we don't run into difficulty, that we keep ourselves safe and well. So it's a natural instinct to really not want to think about it, which is why it ruminates in the back of our mind unresolved, because we can't easily see a way through it because we're in part avoiding it. Now, one of the ways that is really effective, if you can be comfortable around doing this, is to get really close up with that problem. Find a place that's quiet where you're comfortable and just sit and think about the problem. Get really close up with it. Look it in the face and think, why is this problem really bothering me? Why can I not resolve it? And then look at it from different angles that you might not have thought about. You might think, if I was a different person, would I see this problem differently? Or you might decide that you've looked at the front end of the problem, what's most immediate to you, but you haven't looked at some of the past history to that problem to understand how it came about. Or maybe you're looking at the result of what you want rather than key steps that you could take along the way to inch the problem down and maybe minimize it. And there's another very useful context, which is visualization. Imagine having a response to the problem that you think you can resolve, and imagine that problem fading into the background. When you see that problem fading in the distance, you might notice that actually you begin to feel more relaxed, that you're calming your response to it, and that it becomes slightly easier to think about. Because it's very important that we imagine the problem resolved so that we have something to move towards. It's a form of visualization that often appears in therapeutic coaching, but it's quite a practical way of just imagining the problem being resolved and you having agency in resolving that problem. So those are several different ways in which you can think about that intractable problem that's eating you up. Having thought about it, you might decide to put some ideas on paper. Mind mapping, where you list all the different sorts of ideas that you have and then work through which are the most practical or which to do first, is one good way of doing it. Another is just think, which aspect of the problem do you want to tackle first? But having a little bit of plan on paper can be helpful. And if you notice that you're really overthinking with this problem, giving yourself some break and distance from that problem also helps keep it in perspective. So it's natural to worry about something, but it's maybe less natural to worry about it 24 hours a day or 12 hours a day, and particularly if you're losing sleep. So think about the problem for a dedicated amount of time. You might say, I know I'm going to worry about this, so I'm going to worry about it between 5 o'clock and 6 o'clock at the end of my working day, and then I'm going to put down 3 actions that I'm going to take just to reduce the impact of this problem. And then I'm going to forget about it for the evening and have a nice relaxing evening. Allow yourself dedicated time to get away from the problem as well as to understand the problem. So I'm hoping that some of those approaches might resonate with you, and there might be one or two of them that you haven't tried before. If you'd like to know more about how coaching works, please do get in touch. And if you'd like to subscribe to my channel, I'll be sharing more tips from my experience as a coach in the workplace. Thank you.